For thousands of years, the galaxy followed one simple rule. Stay away from Earth. Across the Galactic Council, star maps showed millions of worlds filled with life, beauty, and peaceful civilizations. But there was one planet that every explorer, trader, and empire was warned to avoid. A small blue world in a quiet solar system. Earth. To the rest of the galaxy, Earth was known by a darker name. The planet of death. Alien scientists had studied it from far away for centuries. Every scan showed the same terrifying facts. The planet had violent oceans, extreme temperatures, powerful storms, massive predators, and crushing gravity far stronger than most habitable worlds. Most intelligent species in the galaxy came from gentle planets where survival was easy. Their worlds had calm weather, low gravity, and very few dangerous animals. Earth was the complete opposite. Life there had evolved through constant struggle. Every creature on that planet had learned to fight, adapt, and survive. Because of that, the Galactic Council believed only primitive life could exist on Earth. No intelligent species could possibly develop advanced technology on such a brutal world. So the galaxy ignored it. For thousands of years, no empire tried to visit Earth. No fleet attempted contact. The system remained quiet and forgotten. Until one day, everything changed. At the edge of the solar system, space suddenly filled with light. Dozens of enormous warships appeared from hyperspace, their engines glowing like small suns. The ships formed a massive formation that blocked the distant stars. It was an invasion fleet. The ships belonged to the Zirith Dominion, one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. Their leader, Commander Varkle, stood inside the command bridge of the flagship, looking down at the blue planet through a massive viewing screen. "So this is the famous Deathworld," he said with a quiet laugh. The alien officers around him studied the data from their scanners. Information flowed across the screens as their systems analyzed Earth. Cities covered the continents. Ships moved across the oceans. Satellites filled the sky around the planet like a ring of metal stars. It was clearly an advanced civilization. But compared to the technology of the Zirith Dominion, it still looked primitive. "They are far behind us," one officer reported. "Their ships use chemical engines. Their weapons are simple missiles and small energy systems." Commander Varkle nodded. "Exactly what we expected," he said. To the Zirith Dominion, Earth looked like a world that had only just entered the early stages of space technology. It had no interstellar fleet. No hyperspace weapons. No large orbital defenses. A perfect target. Varkle smiled. "The Council avoided this world because they feared the dangers of the planet," he said. "But they forgot something." The officer looked at him. "What is that, Commander?" Varkle turned toward the massive fleet outside. "Dangerous planets create strong creatures, but strong creatures can still be conquered." He raised his hand. "Prepare the invasion signal." Moments later, a powerful broadcast was sent directly to Earth. Across the entire planet, every satellite, radio station, television network, and communication system suddenly received the same message. A cold mechanical voice spoke in perfect human language. "People of Earth. This system is now under control of the Zirith Dominion." Cities around the world froze as the message echoed through speakers and screens. "You will surrender your planet immediately. Any resistance will result in planetary destruction." For several seconds, the entire world was silent. Humans stared at the sky. Above them, hundreds of massive alien warships waited. Most civilizations would have panicked. Most worlds would have surrendered instantly. But something strange happened. Earth did not surrender. Deep under mountains, deserts, and oceans, ancient systems that had been sleeping for decades suddenly activated. Massive doors hidden beneath the ground slowly began to open. Unknown machines powered on. Secret facilities that did not exist on any public record came to life. Inside one of those hidden bases, a human commander watched the alien fleet on a giant screen. He didn't look afraid. Instead, he slowly stood up. "Alert all stations," he said calmly. Across the planet, the same order was sent. Humanity had been waiting for this moment. For more than 200 years. The commander looked up at the image of the alien fleet and gave one final order. Begin Phase 1. Far below the surface of Earth. The planet of death finally began to wake up. Above Earth, the Zirith Dominion fleet waited in perfect formation. Hundreds of warships surrounded the planet like a cage of steel and fire. Their massive weapons pointed down toward the surface, ready to strike if the humans refused to surrender. Commander Varkle stood calmly on the bridge of his flagship. To him, the situation was simple. Primitive species often panicked when faced with overwhelming power. Some begged for mercy. Others tried small, useless attacks. Either way, the result was always the same. Conquest. But something about Earth felt strange. Minutes had passed since the Zirith message was sent, yet the humans had not responded. No surrender signal came from the planet. No desperate communication asking for peace. Instead, the planet remained quiet. Too quiet. "Commander," one of the officers suddenly said. "Our scanners are detecting unusual activity across the planet." Varkle turned toward the display screens. "What kind of activity?" The officer looked confused. "Energy signatures are rising from multiple locations. Hundreds of them." The main screen zoomed in on Earth. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The planet still looked peaceful from orbit. Then the first mountain moved. A section of rock slowly opened, sliding apart like giant metal doors. From inside the mountain, an enormous structure began rising toward the sky. It looked like a tower made of dark metal. But it wasn't a tower. It was a weapon. Before the alien officers could react, more structures appeared across the planet. Deserts opened. Ocean floors shifted. Ice fields cracked apart. Across every continent, hidden facilities emerged from underground. Massive cannons slowly aimed themselves toward space. Missile silos opened like giant steel flowers. Orbital launch platforms powered on with blinding light. The Zirith officers stared at the screens in disbelief. "Impossible," one of them whispered. These were not the defenses of a primitive world. These weapons were massive. Powerful. Carefully hidden. Commander Varkle's calm expression began to fade. "How long have those structures been there?" he asked. "Our scanners never detected them before," the officer replied nervously. "They were completely hidden beneath the planet's surface." Varkle suddenly understood something disturbing. The humans had not built these weapons recently. They had built them long ago. And they had hidden them perfectly. At that moment, a new signal reached the Zirith fleet. A human transmission. The bridge became silent as the message played. A calm human voice spoke. "You were warned to stay away from Earth." Varkle narrowed his eyes. "Who is speaking?" he demanded. The voice continued. "For 200 years, humanity has watched the stars. We knew the galaxy would eventually come looking for us. Across Earth, the hidden facilities continued activating. Massive power generators roared to life. Gigantic underground factories opened. Orbital launch systems locked onto targets. We hoped the day would never come, the human voice said quietly. The alien scanners suddenly detected something new. Movement in Earth's orbit. Bright lights appeared across the atmosphere as enormous objects began rising from the surface of the planet. At first, the Zirith officers thought they were ordinary human spacecraft. But as the shapes grew larger, the truth became clear. These ships were gigantic. Far larger than anything the Zirith Dominion had expected from a primitive species. One officer stepped back in shock. "Commander, Those ships are almost the size of small cities. The human voice spoke again. But if the galaxy comes to conquer us. The first massive warship finally entered orbit. Its surface was covered with heavy armor and enormous weapons. Multiple rail cannons rotated slowly toward the alien fleet. Behind it, more ships rose from the atmosphere. 10. 20. 50. An entire hidden fleet. Commander Varkle stared at the screen in silence. For the first time since arriving in the system, he began to feel something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. The human voice finished its message. Then humanity will defend itself. The signal ended. For a moment, the battlefield was completely still. Then the largest human warship moved forward. Its rail cannons glowed with building energy. Inside the Zereth flagship, alarms suddenly screamed across the bridge. "Commander," the officer shouted. "Human weapons are locking onto our fleet." Varkle clenched his claws. The primitive species they expected to conquer had just revealed a secret fleet powerful enough to challenge them. And the battle had not even begun yet. Outside the ship, the first human Titan warship finished charging its weapons. Then it fired. The war for Earth had officially begun. The moment the human Titan ship fired, space exploded with light. A massive rail cannon round shot forward at unbelievable speed. The metal projectile crossed the distance between fleets in seconds and slammed directly into one of the Zereth warships. The alien ship's shields shattered instantly. A heartbeat later, the entire vessel broke apart in a violent explosion. Fragments of burning metal scattered across space. For a few seconds, the battlefield became completely silent. No one in the Zereth fleet moved. No one expected the attack to be that powerful. Then the alarms began. Ship destroyed. Multiple human weapons detected. Energy spikes across the enemy fleet. Commander Varkle stared at the shattered remains of the warship drifting in space. The humans had destroyed one of his cruisers with a single shot. That should have been impossible. "Return fire!" Varkle shouted. The Zereth fleet reacted instantly. Hundreds of alien ships opened fire at once. Bright energy beams and plasma weapons rushed toward the human fleet like a storm. But the human Titan ships moved. Their engines burned bright as they shifted formation. Massive shields formed around their hulls as the alien weapons struck. The explosions were powerful, but the Titan ships remained intact. Humanity had prepared for this battle for centuries. Now that preparation was showing. More Titan ships joined the attack. Their rail cannons fired again and again, launching heavy projectiles that tore through alien shields. Each hit destroyed or crippled another Zereth ship. Missile pods on the Titan vessels suddenly opened. Thousands of missiles launched into space, spreading out in every direction. They moved like swarms of metal insects, each one searching for a target. The Zereth fleet tried to shoot them down, but there were too many. Explosions filled the battlefield. Several alien destroyers vanished in bursts of fire. Commander Varkle watched the chaos in disbelief. "This cannot be happening," he muttered. The humans were supposed to be weak. Primitive. Yet their fleet fought like experienced warriors. Then the situation became even worse. "Commander," one of the officers shouted. "We are detecting hundreds of smaller craft approaching." The screen zoomed out. From behind the Titan ships, thousands of smaller vessels were launching. Human fighter craft. Attack drones. And something else. Strange metal pods. At first, the Zereth officers didn't understand what they were seeing. The pods shot directly toward alien ships, ignoring defensive fire. Many were destroyed before reaching their targets. But some survived. The pods slammed into the hulls of Zereth warships with incredible force. Then they opened. Inside each pod was a human soldier. Covered in heavy combat armor. The Zirith officers watched in shock as the humans forced their way into alien ships. "What are they doing?" one officer asked. The answer came seconds later. Inside the alien vessels, alarms began screaming. Orders detected. Security teams eliminated. Control rooms under attack. Humans were fighting inside the Zirith ships. And they were winning. Earth's gravity had made humans far stronger than most alien species. Their muscles were dense, their bones strong, and their bodies built for survival. Against them, many alien soldiers were simply too weak. Video feeds from inside one Zirith cruiser showed a terrifying scene. A group of alien guards fired their weapons at a human soldier charging toward them. The human shield absorbed the blasts. Then the soldier slammed into the guards like a living battering ram. The aliens were thrown across the corridor. Within seconds, the humans had taken control of the ship. Commander Varkle felt a chill run through his body. The humans were not just defending their planet. They were hunting his fleet. "Commander," an officer said nervously, "we have already lost 15 ships." Varkle clenched his claws. This invasion was supposed to be easy. But now his fleet was being torn apart. Still, the Zirith Dominion was not weak. They had conquered dozens of star systems. And they still had one final weapon. Varkle slowly turned toward another screen. At the far edge of the solar system, a massive object had just appeared from hyperspace. Even the Titan ships looked small compared to it. One officer whispered in fear. The Planet Breaker. The Zirith ultimate warship had arrived. And if the humans thought they had already won the battle, they were about to learn how wrong they were. At the edge of the solar system, space twisted with a deep flash of blue light. Something enormous emerged from hyperspace. For a moment, even the ongoing battle seemed to slow as sensors across the battlefield detected the new arrival. It was massive. Far larger than any ship that had appeared before. The Zirith Planet Breaker. The warship stretched for nearly 50 kilometers, its dark armored surface covered with enormous weapon arrays and energy towers. In the center of the ship was a glowing structure that looked like the heart of a star. It was a weapon designed for one purpose: destroying entire planets. Inside the Zirith flagship, Commander Varkle finally allowed himself a small smile. "Now," he said quietly, "the battle ends." Across the battlefield, human ships also detected the new arrival. Warnings flashed across their command screens as sensors calculated the power levels building inside the massive alien vessel. Human Admiral Marcus Hale watched the data carefully. For the first time since the battle began, the human fleet became cautious. "That ship isn't here to fight us," one officer said slowly. Hale nodded. "It's here to destroy Earth." The Titan fleet immediately shifted formation. Several warships turned their heavy weapons toward the distant Planet Breaker. "Fire everything," Hale ordered. Within seconds, hundreds of missiles launched toward the incoming superweapon. Rail cannons fired again and again, sending powerful projectiles racing across space. The attack slammed into the massive alien vessel. Explosions covered its surface. But when the smoke cleared, the Planet Breaker was still moving. Its shields were far stronger than anything the human fleet had faced before. Inside the Zirith command ship, officers watched the failed human attacks. "Human weapons ineffective," one officer reported. Commander Varkle nodded. "Begin planetary cleansing." Across the massive alien ship, energy towers began to glow brighter and brighter. The central weapon slowly rotated toward Earth. A terrifying amount of power began to gather. The energy readings were unlike anything the human fleet had seen before. Back near Earth, Admiral Hale understood the danger immediately. "If that weapon fires, the planet is finished," one officer said quietly. Hale remained calm. "Activate Aegis," he said. The officer looked at him in surprise. "Sir, are you sure?" Hale nodded once. Humanity built it for a reason. The order was transmitted instantly. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, far below cities and oceans, ancient systems began to activate. Machines that had never been revealed to the public slowly powered on. Massive reactors buried inside the planet's crust began producing unimaginable energy. Across the battlefield, the planet breaker finished charging. Commander Varkle raised his hand. Fire. A beam of pure white energy erupted from the alien superweapon. It shot across space like a spear made of light, moving directly toward Earth. Every human ship watched helplessly as the beam approached the planet. Then something incredible happened. Just before the beam reached Earth's atmosphere, the planet lit up. A massive energy shield suddenly formed around the entire world. The beam slammed into the shield with blinding force. Space itself seemed to shake. For several seconds, the energy beam pushed against the barrier surrounding Earth. Then the impossible happened. The beam shattered. The attack broke apart into millions of fading sparks of light. Inside the Zereth fleet, complete silence filled every command bridge. Commander Varkle stared at the screen in disbelief. That weapon destroys planets, he whispered. But Earth was still there. Untouched. Across the human fleet, cheers erupted through communication channels. Admiral Hale watched the battlefield calmly. The galaxy believes Earth is a death world, he said. He looked toward the distant planet breaker. They have no idea how prepared we really are. Human Titan ships slowly began moving forward again. This time, they were not defending. They were hunting. And now the largest alien weapon in the galaxy was their next target. The battlefield slowly grew quiet. Burning fragments of destroyed ships drifted across space like glowing ashes. The once powerful Zereth invasion fleet had been reduced to scattered survivors trying to regroup around their greatest weapon. The planet breaker. But now the massive warship was no longer the hunter. It had become the prey. Human Titan ships moved through space in a wide formation, slowly surrounding the gigantic alien vessel. Their engines glowed softly as they positioned themselves with careful precision. Inside the Zereth command ship, the officers stared at the tactical screen in silence. Everything had gone wrong. Dozens of their warships had been destroyed. Boarding teams had captured several others. And their ultimate weapon had failed to destroy the planet it was designed to erase. Commander Varkle stood perfectly still as he watched the human fleet closing in. For the first time since the invasion began, he understood the truth. Earth had never been weak. Earth had simply been waiting. One of his officers spoke nervously. "Commander, human ships are surrounding the planet breaker." Another officer looked at the incoming data. "They are not attacking yet." Varkle narrowed his eyes. "What are they doing?" At that moment, a transmission signal appeared across every surviving Zereth ship. It was coming from the human flagship. Varkle hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Open the channel." The main screen flickered to life. A human officer appeared on the display. He wore a dark uniform marked with the symbol of Earth's United Fleet. His expression was calm, almost peaceful. Behind him, large windows revealed the blue curve of Earth in the distance. The human admiral looked directly at the camera. "My name is Admiral Marcus Hale," he said slowly. The Zereth officers listened carefully. "You came to our system with weapons," Hale continued. "You demanded that we surrender our world." Commander Varkle remained silent. "We did not ask for this war," Hale said. The screen switched to show the battlefield outside. Human Titan ships now fully surrounded the enormous planet breaker. Hundreds of rail cannons were aimed directly at the alien superweapon. "But humanity has survived on a death world for thousands of years," Hale said calmly. "We know how to fight." The message returned to the admiral. For 2 centuries, humanity prepared for the moment the galaxy would finally arrive. The Zereth officers exchanged nervous looks. You believed Earth was dangerous because of its storms and predators, Hale said. He leaned slightly forward. But the real danger of Earth is the people who survived it. Silence filled the Zirith command bridge. Varkle slowly realized something terrifying. The humans had not shown their full strength yet. They had only defended themselves. Admiral Hale spoke again. The Zirith Dominion has lost this battle. The alien officers looked at their tactical display. He was right. The human fleet controlled the battlefield completely. You will leave this system immediately, Hale continued. Your remaining ships will be allowed to retreat. One Zirith officer whispered in shock. They are letting us go. Hale's voice became colder. But if any fleet ever returns to conquer Earth again. The human admiral paused for a moment. We will not be so merciful next time. The transmission ended. Commander Varkle stared at the blank screen. Around the planet Breaker, human ships slowly moved aside, creating a path leading out of the solar system. An escape route. For a long moment, Varkle said nothing. Then he finally gave the order. All surviving ships, retreat. One by one, the damaged Zirith vessels turned away from Earth and activated their hyperspace drives. The massive planet Breaker followed last. Within minutes, the once terrifying invasion fleet vanished into the darkness of space. Back on Earth, the Titan fleet remained in orbit, watching the stars carefully. The war had lasted only a few hours. But the consequences would echo across the entire galaxy. Because news travels fast between the stars. And soon, every empire, every council, and every civilization would learn the same lesson. The death world called Earth was no longer a forgotten planet. It was something far more dangerous. A world defended by a species that had survived the harshest planet in the galaxy. And now the galaxy finally understood one simple truth. Humanity had not been hiding from the stars. Humanity had been preparing for them.